We're ready. Hey, everybody, we're ready. We're going to do some podcasting and some radio stuff over here. Ready. Ready?
Yeah, I think we're ready, Johnny. I think you don't need to belabor the point.
Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the line as he does every week except last week because we took a week off because we both needed it. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com to talk about movies, entertainment, and the world between. What's going on?
Oh, boy, did we need that, especially for the world between. Everything's been so busy this month, and on top of that, Thanksgiving was last week. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. We ate, we ate a ton. We did leftovers for like 3 days in a row, and we got to a point where it's like, okay, I can't do this anymore. We got to get some different food in this house. So,
yeah, my brother and his wife hosted again, and they did send us home with leftovers. It wasn't like a huge amount of leftovers.
Yeah.
It was just enough because it was like 2 meals worth, and my wife likes to send leftovers to me because sometimes she'll actually eat the leftovers.
Yeah.
But whenever we have stuff left over, she's like, look, you remember this stuff more than I do, and if you need something for lunch, just go right ahead and, eat the leftovers. So it's like, okay, fine.
Well, you kind of work from home too, so it's kind of easier for you.
Oh, it really is. I mean, every now and then I do like to order something as sort of a treat, like especially when it's like a new payday and it's like, okay, a little more room to splurge right now. I'm going to order Taco Bell or order something from a local taco joint.
No, we made it to like Saturday night of Thanksgiving weekend was when we got something around here called Tasty Tacos. Really, really good taco joint around here.
Oh, sounds so good.
I walked through 4 of those tacos, and it was. I looked at my wife. I go, I just ate 4 of these. I could eat another one, and I know I'm gonna be miserable because I'm so full, but it's so worth it.
Yeah, sometimes the juice really is worth the squeeze.
Yes, it is. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now. As we do get into movies and all that this week, real quick, I want to send a very, very heartfelt thank you out to the folks at Windsong Theaters. Currently, it's known as AMC Theater here in Johnston, Iowa, but they ended up closing their doors this past week. And I just wanted to say, when it was called Windsong, it's a theater that I went to and frequented a lot. At one point when I was younger, I called it my church. That's how much time I spent at this theater. But to all the people that were associated with Windsong over the years, thank you so much for all the memories. I appreciate it.
It just sucks because then you think about all the memories you had in there. You think about the convenience, and it's
like when I was a kid, and when I say kid, this theater opened when I was a teenager, I believe, because for me growing up, movie theaters went the Cinema 6, Paramount 5 was the next one in Ankeny, and then Windsong opened up in Johnston, and that was kind of the movie theater to go to, and it was stadium seating. It was really nice. I hope another theater takes it over because it is a nice building. It's a big building, but I think I read somewhere that a church might be taking it over. So
yeah, I've seen that happen in some cases where there was a 4-screen theater that I used to go to as a kid in my old neighborhood, and that was taken over by like a smaller church. But we'll see what happens.
I just wanted to bring it up for a minute and say thank you to all the folks that were associated with Windsong over the years. Mike, we got to get to some reviews and such. We've talked about everything other than under the sun other than that. Let's start with one of the ones you saw, Dream Scenario. This is Nick Cage, right?
Yes. Nick Cage plays a college professor who, out of nowhere and without reason, starts appearing in people's dreams.
That's weird, but sounds okay.
It is. It's weird, but the thing is, this isn't a 24 movie before anyone asks, so it does get weird, but I've seen a lot weirder, both from A24 and from Nick Cage.
Okay.
And first of all, the movie's good. Movie is very good because it's very subtle with the messages that it's putting out. It touches on everything from influencers to cancel culture to social media apologies. Like it's a very modern statement movie.
Okay.
But it's not hitting you over the head with it. And at the center of it all is this really low-key performance from Nicolas Cage, who is just, the world around him is crazy, and he is sort of one of the saner people. He does go a little off the deep end towards the end, but never, not to like a vampire's kiss or face-off sort of extent. Like, he is very, very understated in this movie, and I love it. He plays such a dork, and the thing is, he plays it brilliantly. He doesn't play it for sympathy. He doesn't play it for to mock him. It's just he's playing it, and I just the more I see Nick Cage, the more I remember an interview he gave where he's like, yeah, I've signed up for a lot of movies, but I don't phone it in. And that's exactly what he proves with this. And it's a very good movie.
He's a dude that when he does pass, there's going to be a lot of conversations from people saying this man was massively underrated.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Nick, and what's funny is the movie does also kind of poke fun at meme culture and the internet, like latching onto something and making it into something, like making normal people into celebrities for like very little or very odd reasons. And in a sense, he's sort of engaging that same sort of thing with himself, because thanks to things like the unbearable weight of massive talent or even just his past work, like he himself is one of the most memed talents in the industry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love him. That and Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. If anybody hasn't seen that, rent it this weekend. It is so good.
I hope it's still on Stars because I need to watch that.
I love it. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com is on the line with me right now as we talk about the world of movies. So Dream Scenario is one you should see this weekend. One you didn't see but could be interesting is Silent Night.
I need to see Silent Night. I know it's been getting okay reviews, but I need to see Silent Night because John Woo, the man who, speaking of Face Off, John Woo made his first Hollywood action movie in like 20 years.
Oh, wow. It is John Woo.
Yeah, John Woo. It's his first action, it's his first Hollywood action movie since Paycheck. Yeah, Paycheck 2003, and then he goes off and does other foreign films, which, again, if you're a John Woo fan, you should be checking out stuff like Red Cliff or The Crossing or even Manhunt. But this is his first Hollywood movie, quote unquote, in a while. And you got Joel Kinnaman trying to avenge the death of his son at Christmas with like no voice. And apparently the film is dialogue free. The trailer alone sold me on this. And I don't know if the movie will have Ode to Joy in it, but obviously they're playing that Die Hard card by saying, yeah, this is a Christmas action movie. Ode to Joy's playing. It's like you got those feelings going. You should go see it.
All right, so Silent Night looks good. We'll probably talk about it more at some point. Another movie you saw that is coming out this weekend that I'm not saying this because it's not my genre of movies, but I did not know this was a thing. There's another Godzilla movie coming out.
Yes, this is a Japanese Godzilla movie. Quick sort of lesson as to differentiate your Godzilla movies. Toho is the company that owns Godzilla, and they co-produce movies. If I'm not mistaken, they co-produce the Warner Brothers MonsterVerse movies like Godzilla, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah.
So you've got the MonsterVerse, but then you've got separate movies like Shin Godzilla, which came out in 2016, and now you've got Godzilla Minus One, where they're strictly Japanese productions. Apparently, this movie is made for $15 million.
You know what? You say that, but I looked at the trailer. It looks good, and one of the interesting things about it, usually they don't show Godzilla a ton in trailers. They show Godzilla a ton in this trailer.
Yeah. So basically, Godzilla Minus One is the story of a failed kamikaze pilot after World War II. This is like right after World War II in Japan. He's picking his life up, and there has been a legend of a lizard creature that menaces locations here and there. And surprise, it's Godzilla, and surprise, he makes an appearance in Japan. And the movie is about people grappling with their first major encounter with this monster and trying to figure out how are they going to stop him if he ever comes back.
Just real quick, imagine living in a world where Godzilla attacked. Like, that was a real thing.
Yeah, kind of frightening.
I mean, think about that. How just messed up that would make your mind, especially if it lived and it just went back out into the ocean.
That is part of what makes Godzilla Minus One so brilliant. I think this may be one of my favorite movies of the year because I dig Godzilla. plain and simple.
Yeah.
But Takahashi Yamazaki directed, wrote, and worked on the visual effects for his own movie, which again only cost $15 million. It's made $23 million overseas. So technically, they're starting to get into profitability here, depending on what they spent on marketing and what have you. This is one of the more serious Godzilla movies, because I swear it's like pizza. It's like anything else. There's two different cravings you have. You have the craving for the MonsterVerse stuff, which is very much popcorn sci-fi. Wow, we're having fun. And then Godzilla Minus One is the really serious, exciting. Like, picture a PTSD drama being told during a Godzilla movie. And there's a whole centerpiece of the movie where Godzilla is making landfall in Tokyo and attacking. And it is terrifying, because just the scope that's shown and the way that he attacks, it really is a chilling sort of scenario, and you're just right on the ground at some points. You're like, it's very human scaled. So it's not like some of the other Godzilla movies where it really much is scaled to the monsters themselves. So it looks big. Yeah. But like, you're not really getting the human perspective. And that's one thing that people also sort of debate back and forth with Godzilla movies is, does this one, are the human characters interesting enough to follow? They definitely are interesting enough to follow in this one. And it's, again, you maybe have like 3 or 4 solid Godzilla showdowns, and then a lot of the tension comes from people. Yeah. Being themselves, making their way through, making their way through the horrors of World War II, and then, you're still piecing that together. And then this huge threat comes into play. If you live in that world, you don't live anywhere close to the coast, right? No. There's a massive exodus from coastal areas. I mean, up until the point where they work on mechs to, like, defend us. Oh, it's not Pacific Rim. You don't know that. You know what? That'd be kind of an interesting, interesting podcast, or just an interesting conversation. Sit down and talk about, okay, let's say Godzilla exists. It showed up like in this scenario. How would life have changed? Oh, that would be a hell of a discussion. I would love to have that. Like, this is going to happen. What do we do from here on out? Well, anyways, Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com, Godzilla Minus One. I'm not a big monster creature movie guy. This looks interesting to me. Like, I legitimately am interested in it. Well, if you happen to see it, I would definitely love to hear your thoughts, man. All right, I will try and do that. Real quick, before we go too far into news, there's another movie coming out this weekend, and I haven't seen it. Mike hasn't seen it, but I did an interview with the guy that wrote it, produced it, and acted in it this weekend. And I just want to he was a really, really cool dude. His name's Don DePetta. The movie is called A Place in the Field, and it has to do with a soldier dealing with PTSD. And it's more of a recovery movie than the hard look at it and how sad things are. It's a movie about hope. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Yeah, so if you get a chance out there, you can, it's on demand. It's called The Place in the Field. And again, I had the conversation with the guy this week. A very cool dude, was very down to earth, very, very passionate about this. It looks cool. If you get a chance, watch it. So there's my shameless plug for the week. Oh, I don't think that's shameless. I think that's proper. I mean, you got to talk to them. You get to talk to the man. So obviously, even no matter what your thoughts are, it's like, hey, it was really cool to talk to this guy. Please watch. But then when you actually end up enjoying the movie, that's even more of a reason to just say, hey, this was fantastic. Go watch this. The big reason that I was kind of passionate about it this week is when I watched the trailer, I wondered if the guy had served before. And that was the first question I asked. I asked, did you serve? And he goes, no, I didn't. And he talked to me about how he talked to all these guys. And I asked him, well, the guys you talk to and the people that have seen the movie, what do they say about it? And the first thing they asked is if I served. If people that have been there are asking if you served because of your portrayal of it, that's saying something. So yeah, that's impressive. So A Place in the Field, Don DePetta, cool dude. Moving on to the world of movie news and trailers and all of that. This is where things get silly and fun and all that. I got to start with the Ted trailer. You told me about it earlier today. I just watched it and I laughed my ass off at this thing. Yeah, I'm excited for this because I like the Ted movies. I even caught up with Ted 2 after it was in theaters. I think I caught it on cable the one day, and I didn't get why people were so down on it. I actually enjoyed it. It was basically it was another. It almost felt like another episode of Ted. And it's kind of funny that, they sort of framed the whole Ted-Johnny relationship as a sitcom in a way in the first movie. So now we're actually getting a limited series on Peacock starting January 12th about these two. I am excited to see this because I dig Seth MacFarlane.
He's a funny cat.
He is. And I loved when he hosted the Oscars like a decade ago. And dude loves to make his music. Dude loves to make stuff like this, just real nonsensical things. It really is an interesting time for Seth MacFarlane because on top of this, Family Guy is moving to Wednesdays at some point, which is weird because it's been in the Sunday slot for like forever.
Yeah.
Like I still remember Family Guy premiering after the Super Bowl the year it premiered. And he's actually got a Christmas record out this year.
Oh boy.
Another one.
You know what's funny? You talk about Seth MacFarlane. You know what the only thing I've never really enjoyed that he did?
What?
A Million Ways to Die in the West.
I still haven't seen it.
And the only reason I bring that up is it showed up as a memory on Facebook the other day. And I don't know why, but that was just not one I really enjoyed. But to tell you how big this Ted trailer is, as of Thursday at about 1:30 Central Time, it's number 10 on trending on YouTube. That's not bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's okay.
Yeah, 10 million, like the first day.
Yeah, so
it's not a record, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. That'll be on Peacock. Now you said January 12th. This has January 11th on the one preview.
Yeah, now that you mention it, I did get that wrong. It is January 11th.
Okay. I wasn't saying it to be a I just saying what
you
I
want
saw.
people to show up. I get it. You want people to be there.
Where the is Ted at?
Bitch told me the 12th. It was on yesterday, and I could have done it yesterday, but it's today, and damn it.
Oh God! Over the world of going kind of back to the theaters, Die Hard and the Abyss coming to theaters for the first time in a while.
Oh yeah, and not only is the Abyss going to theaters, it's the first time that the special edition version is going to theaters. That's on December 6th for one night only. Die Hard's coming back on December 8th. I don't know if it's one night only or if that's going to be like a week or however long of a run, but I love when repertory stuff like this pops up, and especially when it comes to The Abyss. That movie's going to 4K and Blu-ray next year. Or no, I think it's this year. And it's like the first time it's been on any format since DVD.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I got to see if I can actually get out to that next week, or if I want to get out to Die Hard as well. Because Die Hard is just, you can never watch that enough, especially at Christmas, because Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
It looks like it'll be in theaters for less than a week. It'll be out of theaters by December 14th.
Yeah, I had a feeling it was like, it's probably one of those things where, again, the writer and actor strike kind of shook up the schedule, and there's probably some gaps that need to be filled here and there, which brings me to something I just found out about that you would probably be interested in.
What's that?
So, Only Murders in the Building. Season 1 is going to be showing on ABC starting January 2nd, and they're going to be running it through 3 weeks in 2-hour blocks, according to a report from Hollywood Reporter, and the season finale will be on January 23rd.
That's it. There's a little bit of swearing in there. Interesting.
It is interesting because I was wondering how much of that would be in there. It doesn't feel like a show that goes out of its way to throw in F-bombs or nudity or blood or like stuff you can't show on network. But I'm sure it'll be as simple as maybe a couple of creative dub-overs here or there, maybe some snips. I mean, again, having flashbacks to when they would show stuff like Dexter or Battlestar Galactica on broadcast back in 2008.
Yeah.
So that it could yield some interesting results.
You know what? I'm all for this. I really like Only Murders in the Building. I think it's a great show, and Selena Gomez is legitimately one of my favorites now because of that show.
And I mean, CBS has been experimenting with this sort of thing too, because they've been showing Yellowstone. And I wonder how much they've had to trim Yellowstone for CBS.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
There's a great rip. One of the guys on the show. He goes to Kevin Costner asks a question of, well, do you guys think this out? Got a plan? And Rip, he goes, well, we just thought we'd go up there and like it, and it's become a standard gif to all me and my friends. Like someone will ask, hey, what do we do with this one? I just thought, it, So, no, that's cool. So, well, that'll be interesting. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com on the line with me right now as we talk about the world of entertainment, movies, and more. Want to dive into Doctor Who real quick?
Oh, yeah.
I legitimately tried to watch this the other night and I fell asleep. Now, when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way. I was just super tired. But
that was what I was going to ask, because I've had that happen to me too with other things.
But Doctor Who is one of those weird things that I'm really, really interested in. I love David Tennant. I love reading about it. But when it comes to the show, I can't get mesmerized by it for some reason.
Interesting.
It is. It's weird.
Huh. I really liked the first. This is the first of 3 60th anniversary specials that they're doing, with David Tennant back as the 14th Doctor and Catherine Tate back as Donna Noble. And so far, I really liked the Star Beast. That was the first one last week. I think this week is Wild Blue Yonder, and then next week is The Giggle, which is like the finale of this trilogy. And then Christmas, we get Ncuti Gatwa's 15th Doctor in a brand new Christmas special, which is the first Christmas special they've done since Peter Capaldi left.
I was going to say, it's been a while, because I remember he was in one.
Yeah, because what they did during the Jodie Whittaker era was they were like New Year's specials.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, like they started doing New Year's specials with her tenure. By the way, if you Google Doctor Who, you get a cute little spinning TARDIS next to the name of the series.
I am goggling it right now.
Yeah, goggle the Google and goggle the
Look at that. That's cool.
Yeah, the Doctor Who, the TARDIS was spinning around. He's in there, and he's like, am I a lady? Am I a man?
Do you think did they bring back David Tennant? And yes, I know where you're going with that. And I'm glad we got the, what's his name, reference in for this week.
You got to get Norm Macdonald in.
Oh, it has to be. But go back to it. They brought David Tennant in to get the numbers up, right?
I honestly don't know. It's the 60th anniversary already, so that's obviously a time to try and bring back other doctors or try to do something big and out there. I mean, 10 years ago this time, I remember seeing Day of the Doctor. Like, I still remember going the day of the anniversary.
Has that been 10 years?
Working. Yeah, it's been 10 years since Day of the Doctor, because I was the 50th anniversary.
Whoa.
And what happened was I was getting out of a night audit shift. I drove, I want to say, half an hour to an hour South Jersey to go see this. They were doing a theatrical simulcast in 3D. So I drove, I literally just got out of work, drove all the way down to wait to like get good seats. And then the few of us that were there to wait early, they let us in, and we got to sit and watch Captain Phillips while waiting for it to happen.
Wow.
Yeah, and I mean that was probably peak New Who, like around that time, because that was like a huge event. There was still Stephen Moffat running the show. Matt Smith was in there.
Yeah.
Like that was just an event. And while they've got specials now, it doesn't feel like as much of an event, even though it is fun. And I was glad to see Donna back. There's a lot of dealing with the consequences of where they left Donna in the original David Tennant run. So that was a lot of fun to watch too. But yeah, this first new special is good. I'm looking forward to the next two.
That should be interesting. Yeah, it feels like there's a lot of people that like Jodie Whittaker, but the writing wasn't up to snuff. If you're going to cut it down to like the really, really short version of it.
Yeah, that is exactly what I would say. It's like the material. It was just like what happened with Peter Capaldi. I love him in the role of the Doctor, but when it came to the stories, like there was this time from, I want to say, the second half of Seven's like departure, like the second half of season 7, I think it was, with Matt Smith, and like they switched over to Clara. That's when it started to sort of go down a little bit in quality. And then like Peter Capaldi's stories were here and there, and it wasn't the man's fault. And I still think that I'm still to this day think that not only did Matt Smith not want to leave, I don't think Peter Capaldi wanted to leave when he did.
Yeah.
So there's things there that I'm sure complicate matters. But 13, I remember starting to watch 13 and it felt so ham-fisted. And it's like, look, I know there are even in the Russell T Davies came back as the showrunner, and one of his hallmarks that is very much present here is sort of being ham-fisted with social messages. It's like, you can do social messaging or historical messaging in Doctor Who, right? You can do it without being like, he shoehorns it in sometimes, and it's just a little awkward, but it's not. It's little hiccups that sort of.
Yeah, but I mean, we've had a lot of that over the last 10 years or so.
Oh yeah, but he was doing it before it was cool.
I know, but I mean, it's just at some point it's like, okay, you have a you have a message, you have a cause. All right, I get it. Like, the two things that have always stuck out to me are he'll just like the messaging, and again, that is not me saying, oh, I don't want Doctor Who to. No, absolutely not. I was just thinking that too. I'm like, I hope I don't sound like a on that, but it's like it's just at some point it's like, okay, every show you watch, it's like, okay, I get it. You have a cause,
but don't let it stick out. Like, do it in a way that it fits into the story, yes. And then just don't do it for the sake of speed bump. It's like getting invested, speed bump.
Yeah.
Like, there's a really cool moment between the creature, the new creature that, well, not new, but the returning creature, the Meep, and the 14th Doctor, and they're talking about pronouns. That was a moment that I really liked. It's like, okay, we're addressing this, and especially you kind of need to address it because the Doctor has now switched back to as they call it, a male-presenting Time Lord. And it's like, okay, that's a cool way to address it. But then later in the episode, they address the whole male-presenting Time Lord thing, and it's sort of it's an issue in one case, and it's like, that's really preachy, and B, someone pointed it out on Twitter. It's like, you just invalidated the fact that the Doctor was a female in their last incarnation. So why did you make that joke?
I get you.
But
I don't know.
The other thing I'm kind of worried about is when Russell T Davies has a 3-parter, it's like good wind up, good middle act, and then the third part just Like, I remember season 3, like, you start really well with like the whole Professor Yana thing, and then you move into the Master being Prime Minister and the invasion of the Toclafane, and then the third episode was just kind of like,
You said a whole bunch of words there.
Yes, I did. I said words.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what happens next.
Perfect. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. Mike Reyes from Cinemablend.com joins me every week on the show to talk about movies and Doctor Who and all this other weirdness. Mike, have a great rest of the weekend.
You too, man, on a week where we talk about Doctor Who and there's no time travel involved.
Oh, yeah, that's weird.
That's very weird. But, you know, it's probably what the Doctor would have wanted.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey stuff.
Yeah. Void stuff.